On today's Hot Sheet, I discuss mortgage demand, a new norm for monthly mortgage payments, and whether or not inventory will increase. Today is Wednesday, September 6th, 2023. I am Byron Lazine, and the Hot Sheet starts now. All right, welcome back or to the Hot Sheet. Let me know in the live chat which market you are tuning in from, and hit the thumbs up button. It's the best way to get this video out to more people who want an update every single day on the housing market. If you want an update on maybe your CRM or maybe what some of the industry thought leaders are saying, then FubCon 2023 is just 18 days away. What can you expect from FubCon? 6 legendary keynotes, 5 hands-on breakouts, 35 plus speakers, and 0 filler, all in 3 action-packed days. It's September 25th to the 28th in LA. Use promo code BAM _ VIP 30. What is up with these promo codes? BAM _ VIP 30 for 30% off your ticket. There's a link below on FubCon. I am a Fub user myself. Fub is follow-up boss, of course. All right, I've got some more updates on some other events. I'll be in Austin on Friday. Talk about that a little bit later. And then, of course, BAM Camp. But first, we've got a mortgage application update. Mortgage demand hits the lowest level since December 1996. Mortgage applications decreased 2.9% from 1 week earlier. So last week's increase in mortgage demand was a blip on the radar. We would expect mortgage applications to decrease this time of year. The seasonality tells us historically that mortgage applications should decline. So I'm not worried about this. I'm just saying here's where we're at. Lowest level since 1996. It makes sense going into this year. It's why I've been saying, if you've been following the Hot Sheet, hey, quarter 3 and quarter 4 of 2023 are going to potentially be harder than 2022. Now don't worry too much. We're still in the 4th highest year of the last 20 years for commission earning opportunities. Like agents, you have the 4th. One way to look at this for commission earning opportunities for agents is you have the 4th easiest market to earn commissions in, higher commissions than the last 20 years. Okay, so you can look at this data a number of different ways, but I'm optimistic. I talk about the optimism thing a lot. I'm realistically optimistic about the 4th quarter. I think preparation is the best way to be optimistic. It's the best way to avoid pessimism is being ultra prepared. And so I want to be prepared for the 4th quarter. Is it going to be the quarter with the lowest amount of transactions in 2023? Well, that's likely. This mortgage demand that we're looking at right now from Mortgage Banker Association released this morning is a precursor for the future. It future paces what's coming, which is lower transactions. Going into a time when we seasonally have lower transactions, yes, and just going into a time when we have higher interest rates for longer. Mortgage applications declined to the lowest level since 1996, despite a drop in mortgage rates. We had that drop from the 7.5 down to the low 7s last week at almost a 0.5% drop. Both purchase and refinance applications fell, with the purchase index hitting a 28-year low, as prospective buyers remain on the sidelines due to a low housing inventory and elevated mortgage rates. This is Joel Kahn, MBA's Vice President and Deputy Chief Economist. The 30-year fixed mortgage rate decreased to 7.21 last week, but rates remained more than a full percentage point higher than a year ago. Despite mixed data on the health of the economy and signs of a cooling job market, the Fed loves that, and we had some Fed updates this morning on that, how much they love the cooling job market. The refinance index dropped to the lowest level since January of 2023, driven by a 6% decline in conventional refinances. Okay, so that's what's going on with the mortgage demand. You'll see some conflicting reports, like Bloomberg's headline today says U.S. home purchase application fell since the lowest level since 1995. And I'm telling you 1996, because I'm actually going off of the source here. This is the source, Mortgage Banker Association. You could check it out for yourself, MBA.org, if you want to get up to the minute data from Mortgage Banker Association. You go MBA.org. This is the news and research section. And it clearly states here, per the source, the lowest level since December 1996. Now, the purchase index hit a 28-year low. Those are two different things. Bloomberg. Okay. So Bloomberg in their headline says U.S. home purchase applications lowest since 95. No. That's the 96. And then the index is 95. All right. So Bloomberg, watch the hot sheet or just read the source a little bit closer. But you know what happens with these Bloombergs of the world, these other mass media companies, they've got some pontificator, some college kid writing their pieces, not a practitioner, not somebody who actually understands what the hell they are reading. So you'll probably see some conflicting reports. I know Housing Wire has it right, as they typically always will. Here in BAM, we have it right as well. Jody from OKC, the lenders I work with are actually busy following on clients and new leads. Now, that being said, I've received them as referrals. And Jody's going to stay persistent. Now, yeah, I'd agree. The good lenders in our space in housing, they are busy, but they're also busy writing applications that get caught up in the queue. Okay, so your local lender in the chat, let me know if your local lender's feeling this, where it's like I'm writing application after application after application. And then I keep hearing from those buyers, I came in second place, I came in fourth place, I came in sixth place. I didn't get the deal once again. And so, and some of them are getting the application and then they're taking a pause, they're dropping out, because as these rates increase, what else increases? The normal monthly payment. And some buyers are going to have a resistance or an inability to afford that payment. Housing Wire reports that with rates at the 22-year high, so demand being at a 27-year low, it's almost equal to the 22-year high on rates. See how those two things work together. Who would have thought, Jerome Powell, that would be the case? 22-year high on rates, the $3,000 monthly mortgage payment becomes the norm. Okay, the average P&I payment for July for a 30-year fixed rate loan was $2,300. Okay, so in the second quarter of 2023, mortgage holders tapped $39 billion in equity through cash out refis, as well as home equity loans, line of credits, which was up modestly from the first quarter of 2023, but half the volume of 2022. We're going to talk about that in a second. Okay, I kind of skipped ahead there. We're going to talk about some of the opportunities on these cash out refis, or potentially freeing up some inventory. Okay, so just 2 years ago, only 18% of buyers were facing that level of payment. As of the end of July, that number has grown to 41%. This is Black Knight that's reporting this data. Beyond that, nearly 1 out of 4 July home buyers has a payment north of $3,000. Okay, so $2,300 hits the highest point ever for the average principal and interest payment. That's before taxes and insurance. Which taxes and insurance factored in an average of $550 a month. That's up 60% over the past 2 years. Taxes and insurance are not going down anywhere. Okay, with the rise in home values, you're just going to see property taxes go up, which also, is increasing some of this equity that we're going to be able to talk about here in a second. But the insurance, we know, is a big problem across the country, and that continues to go up. So these payments are doing nothing but going up and up and up. And at some point, we hit the wall on affordability. Okay. The Altos Research CEO sent out a tweet. Let me see if I can find it real quick. And I'll share the tweet with you. Altos Research CEO, I'm going to paraphrase here. He basically said with where rates are, with where these mortgage payments are, okay, he believes that we could be coming into a time period where and here's his tweet here, so I'll just share it with you on the screen. Affordability slows home sales. Okay, so we're seeing that home sales continue to slow. There's been a crash in real estate. It's been home sales, nothing else. Okay. He says the affordability, which is currently slowing total transaction, hints at home price declines. Okay. Mortgage rates have been staying between the 7 and 7.5, and home buyers are feeling it. Inventory of unsold single family homes rose over 1% again this week to 509,000. We talked about that yesterday on the stream, that inventory and new listings is up. Normally, inventory would peak in August, but we're here in September and we're seeing potential signs that September could set new peaks. But as these mortgage rates rise, so does inventory. Okay, so the CEO for Altos Research, of course, Mike Simonson is the name. Of course, Altos Research, owned by HW Media, believes that we could be seeing home price declines. I would agree with you. I've been saying this for a long time. The fourth quarter, you always see home price declines. It doesn't mean year over year we're going to see home price declines when we project out 12 months. Okay. It also, when you project out 12 months, you also have Zillow reporting that we're going to have a 6+% increase in home values. Okay. Speaking of HW Media, we have an interview with the Housing Wire CEO, Clayton Collins. It goes live on the channel today at 12:30 p.m. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Let me know in the comments if you're looking forward to that in-depth interview that I recently had sitting down with the Housing Wire CEO, Clayton Collins, that goes up today. All right. So there you go. We've got some that believe that home prices could, the Altos Research, could go down. One of the major factors, of course, is this home purchase application index, which we covered. This fortune chart will be available for all BAMX members in the daily download section, where you can get all of my slides from the hot sheet every single day in our daily download section on BAMX. Use code HOT to get 10% off of BAMX. BAMX members get all of the first opportunity and get 25% off of BAM Camp, which is happening on September 20th. Homeowners that locked into historically low rates are unlikely to leave their homes. That's been the theme. If you look here in the 1980s, it is a similar story where the effective interest rate on mortgage debt outstanding was about 10%, but the rates were as high as 18%. Yes, I said the effective interest rate on outstanding debt was 10%. We're in a little different crisis than we were in the 80s. Okay, effective debt right now is close to 4%. That means the average mortgage holder out there is at about 4%. 91% are below 5%. And the 30-year fixed rate is up in the 7.5 range. Okay, so you see a gap that is unlike any other time except for the 80s. This is showing us, telling us that there is a hesitancy for people to actually put their home on the market. But that, and it makes sense here, right? Because if you just take a look at this, I'll drop in the daily download once again today. 7.5% at 2,500 would be, less than a $400,000 home, when at the 4%, you were getting a $500,000 home at a $2,500 payment. Okay, so how much home can you afford as the rates change? This is what CEO of Altos Research was talking about. Like, hey, prices are just going to come down due to the affordability. But that only happens if inventory increases. One reason that Steve Harney, founder of Keeping Current Matters, who shared this chart recently, believes we could see an inventory increase is that if homeowners start to see this trend where, okay, people just, there's like less buyers that can afford what's going on right here. And the more that stacks up, the more trends we saw like last week where inventory actually ticks up, then the more incentivized I may be to get out ahead of the curve and tap into this. Americans are sitting on tremendous equity. 68.7% have paid off their mortgage or have at least 50% equity. So one of the other, no mortgage. We know 42% of people have no mortgage. So another, whatever that, almost 25, 30% have at least 50% equity. Okay. KCM says 38.7 own the home free and clear. There's been a lot of data that suggests it's 42%, that it's higher than this. KCM does not source where that number comes from on this pie chart, but we're in the ballpark there. About four out of 10 homeowners do not have a mortgage. Mortgage homes with 50% equity, that's 30%. 20% have 30 to 50% equity. Mortgage homes have with 10 to 30% equity is almost 10%. So there's a lot of equity sitting out there. And if inventory continues to tick up, look at this. We shared this yesterday. I'll drop it back in the daily download today for BAMX members. At a time when new listings typically go down. Now, we are tracking the lowest level of new listings ever. But is this not a welcome sign to affordability and inventory into the market? I certainly would suggest that it is. We typically see seasonality push this number down, and all of a sudden this number is increasing. If the trend continues upward in September, that would be a great signal for affordability. I would suggest that you could actually see those home price declines that I'm anticipating into the fourth quarter happen even sooner. It's a supply and demand issue. The more inventory that we can bring to the market for these home buyers who are faced with an average of $2,300 plus mortgage rates, the more options they have, the more negotiating power that they're going to have, the more the pendulum could shift to buyers. I'm not saying that that's going to happen overnight. It's going to take months of data and an increase in supply for sure. But these are the beginning trends that we need to see in order for that to happen. Okay. In order for agents to be able to continue to work with buyers, we need, and I know that there's a little bit of hyperbole there. Okay. Agents are going to be able to work with buyers for a long time. Do not get scared in the comments here. But in order for buyer agency to be protected, we need NAR and some of the biggest brokerages in our space to really navigate these class action lawsuits in a good way. I've got an update here, which I'm sure you've heard, that Anywhere, formerly Realgy, you can find this on nowbam.com, settled the class action lawsuit, both of them. Okay, they settled the Murrell and Sitzer Brunette cases. Okay, so they kind of left NAR, Remax, Keller Williams holding the bag because now there's precedent with their settlement. Their settlement was $83.5 million. By the way, the attorney for class action suits, one of the attorneys said, yeah, we got the most we could out of Realty. They got $3 billion in debt. This is about all they could afford. Interesting. He's basically saying we're going to get a lot more money from NAR, Remax, KW. It's interesting that they went out as the lone wolf here. We don't know the details. The class action settlement did state that they made concessions to the way they're going to operate their business. So does that not impact KW? Does that not impact NAR? Does that, which impacts everybody, right? That's a member of NAR. Does that not impact Remax? I would suggest it does. They're going to use that as leverage in those class action settlements that are still due. Maybe they're going to settle. Maybe their settlement is going to have to be very similar to Anywhere. Anywhere now going out as the lone wolf, taking care of themselves, but maybe leaving the rest of the industry behind. Maybe not. Maybe they made a great deal. We don't know the terms. It's interesting. This is the statement from Steve Berman, the managing partner and co-founder of Hagens Berman. This is the attorneys for the class action settlement. For the monetary settlement was the most that could be obtained in light of Anywhere's financial resources. Critically, the settlement includes significant changes to Anywhere's practices relating to the conduct that we have challenge. Our antitrust team looks forward to continuing to pursue additional relief against remaining defendants for those who have been systematically overcharged for simply selling their homes in an already unstable housing market. Well, first of all, these were filed in 2019 when we had a normal market, you bozo, Steve. So it was not an unstable market when these claims were made. The unstable housing market would be today, but these claims aren't being made of today. They're being made of in the past. So I don't know, attorneys, they're not very bright, most of them. They're just blood-sucking vampires out to steal money. And they got 83 million plus from anywhere, from Realogy, formerly Realogy. So I've got concerns, I'll tell you that straight up, that they're a lone wolf in this thing. Because the other thing, Anywhere Realogy, this guy, Steve Berman, saying you don't have the money basically for us to get more money out of you. So we sucked 83.5 million. Well, what happens when a bunch of copycat lawsuits come out? That's what happens after you start settling a couple of these deals. More pop up. Try to get another settlement out. Are you just going to pay off everybody? I don't know. I mean, so, and what does this mean for NAR? What does this mean for the rest of realtors out there that you kind of went out on your own, didn't have a cohesive approach to your settlement? No Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Remax, Keller Williams, no statement from them. NAR says they're going to continue to fight. My God, take the 46 million away from Hava's marketing group then and go get yourself an attorney that can win. A lot more to come, obviously, on this, but that's the latest data. It's a significant piece to the puzzle, though, as these class action lawsuits loom over the real estate industry. We'll take maybe we could talk about this on Friday when I do the question and answer show, which will be live from Austin, Texas. I'll be in Austin speaking later that afternoon at the Elite Agents event. Jeremy Knight's Elite Agent event is going to be one you don't want to miss. If you are in the Austin area, or if you're in Texas, just get in the car and come. I talked to Jeremy yesterday. I'm hearing there's still a few tickets left, not a lot, but there are a few tickets left, and you still have time to jump in there. Elite Agent event. We have a link down below. I will be there personally, speaking in the afternoon. I'll do the hot sheet live in the morning. We'll do our Q&A show, and then we'll jump into the event. Jimmy Mackin is going to be there. Eric, the broke agent. There's a whole bunch of great speakers. So if you're going to be in Texas, go over to Austin and join me at the event. All right. We're also going to be giving away some BAMX memberships too there, a few of them. So if you haven't gotten your BAMX membership and you're going to be there live in person, you'll get a chance to win. If you're not going, just use code HOT, get 10% off, get access to all of our courses, live streams today. We have a live stream today, don't we? Yes, we do. We have a live stream for mini chat happening at, what time is that? 4 o'clock? 3 p.m. Eastern. 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm sorry, 4 p.m. Eastern for BAMX members. Live chat on live stream on how to use ManyChat, how we do it right here with BAM. All right, that's all we got today for the hot sheet. Hope you guys have a very productive Wednesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow, 9:30 on the East, 6:30 on the West. Until then, toodaloo.